Hello, God bless everyone today. This is Laurie from Spirit Warriors of Christ. Today, I have a message for you, The Deception of Halloween, Part 2. When we take a good look at this satanic holiday of Halloween, on the surface, it looks like innocent fun. I'm coming to you from a more personal perspective and would like you to really think about what I'm talking about. I didn't grow up in a Christian home. Becoming a Christian came much later. However, even though my parents were unbelievers, they had me baptized as a baby. I believe today they were led by God to do this. My father said it was because they wanted me to have some kind of stability. After that, as a young girl, I attended church services accompanied by my mother or my grandmother. Let me tell you, it was a bumpy journey to get to the point where I'm at in my faith today. When I grew into an adult, out of curiosity, I went in to check out a New Age gift shop and bookstore. I kept going back, enticed by the books, statues, tarot cards, stones, crystals, jewelry, pendulums, runes, etc. So many things that were bad for me. I was so easily led and so naive. I was involved in this for, I don't know, maybe 2 years. Then I got sucked into it and I was in too deep. I took 2 Japanese healing classes, used oracle cards and a pendulum, then began speaking to spirits. In my healing, I used crystals and stones. I was so far from God that when an evil spirit attached to me, and then my life became a living hell. It was at this point Jesus came to me. He walked beside me and waited for me to accept and believe in him in my heart and mind. What I did, he said, follow me. And I did. And this was a starting point of a beautiful relationship with him. He took everything that was wrong in my life and made it right by working with me. Today, I still have that attachment, which I have dealt with for years. And with this being said, excuse me, and with this being the end times and Halloween coming upon us soon, things are extremely bad right now. But I'm hanging in there. So, when it comes to spiritual things, I've been dealing with these things for years. Since I was in my teens, it began subtly as I began sensing a presence. I was always creeped out by the basement, especially the laundry room. Like an imprint from a time past was reaching out to me. Let's just say that I began having visions which have not let go of me since it became crystal clear of the spiritual world in which I lived. But not much really changed about me. It would be a detriment to your growth as a Christian for me to elaborate on this vision. So I'm not going to go any further into that. That said, I myself stopped trick-or-treating at 12 or 13 as my parents decided I was too old. But I myself did the same, dressing my girls in costumes and took them trick-or-treating. This was way before the concept of trunk or treat. When I did, I loved to dress in costume and pretend to be someone else. a bum on the street, a ballerina, a witch, a clown, even Little Bo Peep. Dressing up in costume in itself, is not something that pleases the Lord. It hides what we truly are, what He made us. He made us in His image. So this is intentional, and even this has a history itself. The roots of Halloween costumes can be traced back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, celebrated more than 2,000 years ago. This festival, marking the end of the harvest season and the onset of winter, was a time when the boundary between living and dead was believed to blur. Individuals would don costumes crafted from animal hides and heads to deter wandering spirits. During Samhain, people lit bonfires and wore these costumes to ward off ghosts and harmful spirits. They also left food and drinks outside their doors as offerings to appease the spirits, hoping to ensure a prosperous year ahead. Usually this had to do with crops. This age-old tradition, deeply steeped in history and customs, has evolved into a contemporary celebration enriched with enduring traditions, delectable recipes, and creative expressions through costumes. During this period, a significant practice emerged known as souling. On All Hallows Eve, the poor would go door to door offering prayers for the dead in exchange for soul cakes. Over time, this custom evolved and laid the foundation for what we now recognize as modern trick-or-treating. So, the Victorian era, during the 19th century, Halloween costumes became to exhibit a playful and whimsical nature. The Victorian era initiated the concept of fancy dress parties where attendees would wear elaborate historical-inspired costumes, drawing inspiration from history, literature, and mythology. People created outfits that were often homemade, artistic masterpieces. The birth of pop culture icons. The early 20th century heralded the rise of popular culture icons, providing fresh inspiration for Halloween costumes. Hollywood and the comic book industry introduced beloved characters like Dracula, Frankenstein, and various superheroes, rapidly becoming popular costume choices. The 21st century. In recent years, trends in Halloween costumes have seen dramatic shifts. Today, Halloween is not solely about dressing as spooky or historical characters. It's a time for self-expression, creativity, and individuality. People draw inspiration from diverse sources, including movies, TV shows, internet memes, and social trends. DIY costumes, creating creative makeup, and unique interpretations have become the norm. The commercialization of Halloween. The commercialization of Halloween, particularly in America, has had a significant influence on costume trends. In the 1930s, the mass production of Halloween costumes began when companies like Ben Cooper Incorporated started selling affordable pre-made costumes featuring popular radio and comic strip characters. This trend gained momentum in the 1950s when retailers recognized the potential of selling packaged Halloween costumes, particularly to children. Over time, these costumes expanded from traditional spooky entities like ghosts and witches to licensed characters from from popular culture, including television shows. When it comes to candy, it's not off limits. There's a real sinister agenda here. Witches literally cast spells over the candy. They prepare all month for Halloween. You can look up ex-witch testimonies on YouTube. If you participate in Halloween, the enemy has a legal right to harm your children and your household. The spiritual realm is a legal realm. You would have to pray to come out of an agreement with the enemy. Satan can't just harm anyone. He wants to. That's why Satan had to ask God for permission to harm Job, because legally Satan didn't have that right. This is found in Job 1:5 through 12. Even so, Job had lost everything, but still remained faithful to God. Samhain sacrifices. So in the past, also, yes, sacrifices were made in the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, which is the origin of Halloween. Animal sacrifices, people would sacrifice animals to Celtic deities at the sacred bonfires built by the Druids. Human sacrifices. Human sacrifices were also made in the festival. Harvest food. People would bring harvest food to share in a communal dinner. Samhain was celebrated at the midpoint between the fall equinox and the winter solstice. The Celts believed that the worlds of the living of the dead dissolved on this night, meaning the veil between the two worlds began to disappear. They also believed that the spirits were present and helped their priests predict the future. These things are still practiced today. Just because we don't see it doesn't mean it isn't going on. We as humans have a veil of idealism over our eyes and have a difficult time seeing that which is good and that which is evil. We lack the vision and understanding to grasp these things, even though they are in our faces every day. There was once displayed in front of the UN building a statue resembling the beast from the Bible. As of January 5th, 2022, the controversial Guardian for International Peace and Security sculpture copying a biblical end times beast is now gone. Case in point, in 2022, at the opening ceremony of the Commonwealth Games in England, and led by then Prince Charles, the world watched as a pagan Baal Worship ceremony took place. Do you remember this? A large robot-like bull was rolled out, complete with growls and blowing smoke. Then a large group bowed on their faces before it. Then one girl stepped forward to appease the pagan god and climbed upon its back and rode it. Remind you of something? It should. The Whore of Babylon in Scripture. In 2023, we watched the Grammy Awards, only to see a vulgar display of satanic flamboyance of devil horns that stuck out of a top hat and red tights and leotard and cape by Sam Smith. Then at Madonna's performance, she looked more like a German schoolmistress, complete with a whip, but her face didn't look like her own. This was such a truly strange program and gave me the creeps. I don't watch award shows anymore. Satan's evil agenda is taking the world by storm. He is quite stealthy with his mental manipulation. Even unsuspecting Christians who live their lives as the world lives won't see it coming. And at this time, I ask you, keep your pets safe, keep them in, and keep your children safe. So I ask you, do you still believe Halloween is innocent fun? And do you still want to celebrate human sacrifices? We need to also keep in mind that the pagan god Baal worshipped children, sacrificed them by fire. Those killing children today are doing this in the name of Baal. Thank you for watching. This is the second of the deception about Halloween. Talk to you again soon. God bless all of you. Have a good day.